Right, why don't we... Let's just make sure that audio's okay. Audio's okay. Yeah, sounds good. Right. So, oh my word, what a surprise. No, I'm not shocked by this at all. Predictable, as per usual. Predictable that I've said this many times before to people that this is actually always going to happen. The video I did not too long ago was that how retarded the right has become. That turned to be true. There's a reason why Farage did what he did. And I saw it back then, and people are starting to see it now. You know, there's this big pie in the middle that people want a piece of. Every single person wants a piece of this pie. And they reckon they should be the quote-unquote Messiah. The video I'm about to show you from Ben Habib, which is about... How long is this video? Yeah, it's about just under 5 minutes long. And it's actually one of the best videos I've seen. And I'm not even a fan of Ben Habib. I'm not a member of Advance UK. I have no interest in becoming a member of Advance UK. But he goes to the heart of what the... I'm trying to find the actual window here, if I can find it. Goes to the heart of what people really stand for. On the right, sticking to their guns, and just making the best out of the situation we're in right now. So, about, what was it, 4 or 5 years, no, it must be more than 4 or 5 years ago now. This leads up to the 2019 general election, I believe. In my old YouTube channel, I had a video called UKIP for Britain and DVP, which is Democrats and Veterans Party. Can these groups unite together? I wish I had that video right now and just play it to you, because it's almost the equivalent of what's happening right now. Right now. What we're seeing unfolding right now. It's the rinse and repeat. And I've tweeted this to many people out there, and I messaged them privately as well. I don't just tweet out there, I messaged them privately and telling them, guys, the exact same thing you've seen happen before, it's going to happen again. And don't think the voters out there are in tune with all this. They don't care for the most part. It's just drama. Online drama is what the right-wingers do now. We want to win, they say, right? We want to win. We want power and do things. Do you really want that, though? That's the biggest question here. Now, does Ben Habib believe he's the right person for the job of Advance UK? Probably. I think it's also to be realistic as well at the same time. They're nothing compared to Reform UK in terms of their structure. And they are quite new, and Restore Britain will be quite new as well. But just how serious are you in all this? And the way that people just jump ship from one party to the other. Oh, I've thrown a tantrum here, and I can't believe these guys. I'm moving on to another party. No, I just move away from all. I just say adios. I know a couple of people in Reform as well have said adios as well. Not to go to Restore Britain or to Advance UK. They've had enough. It's just a waste of time, waste of energy. My beef with Reform UK, and you will see some of the videos on my channel. Go for it and see them. So I don't think is a Reform UK propaganda channel. I'm very critical of Reform UK. Last one I was criticising them was more to do with the was it running for office? So if you want to apply, you've got to pay 250 quid, right? I was truly disturbed by that. I thought, that's ridiculous. I'm not saying I should be the candidate, but I should give a chance to try and prove myself. A bit difficult when you can't afford to keep throwing £250 like that into an application. But that's the way Reform do things. Good luck to them. If Restore Britain and Advance UK will do something similar, good luck to you. But I don't agree with it at all. Don't agree with it at all. So in that video back years ago when I started talking about Democrats and Veterans Party, For Britain, UKIP, I looked at all their policies and what they spoke about and thought what could actually unify all three. And there were a number of issues that could unify them. But the question is, if you got, for example, let's say, because Gerard Batten became the leader of UKIP, let's say Farage was still there at that time, before we did the Brexit party, right? You got Farage, you got John Rhys Evans, who was head of the Democrats Veterans Party, who was former UKIP, and Emery Waters, who I believe was also in UKIP as well. Forgive me, I got it wrong. She's head of For Britain. I just can't see you getting all three unifying together and agreeing on anything. So you take Farage out of the question, but Gerard Batten, the exact same thing you're seeing online right now would happen there and then as well. There was no attempt to unify the right on this. United Kingdom made no sense. The reason why I thought it made no sense because what is actually trying to unify here? We must all work together, but then you've got a million people in that room who think they've got the right answers, who should be the leader of the party, the leader of the quote-unquote movement. These people are not serious. They're not serious people. Their heart might be in the right place, but they're not serious people. I'm sorry, but they're not. So I'm just my friend back quickly, doing the stream. Can talk later. Right? You hear some of the stories happening in Reform UK. You hear some of the stories happening in Advance UK. Just recent ones came out about Advance UK Wales. Now Restore Britain got issue with people who, as he rightly calls out, and let's play a video here actually. Let me get the video on the screen. This is Ben Habib's 5-minute video. Let's play it straight out and I'll comment on it. And this reminds us exactly why we have these problems in the first place. Let's just go to the video now. So if I go to his tweet first, you can see it on the left hand side. My message to Rupert Lowe and Restore Britain, Rupert Lowe being the de facto leader of Restore Britain, right? I made a commitment as leader not to bend into Advance UK's mission to restore proud, sovereign, prosperous United Kingdom, all its parts and all its people, and reaffirm that commitment today. Come hell or high water, I will fight for our country, he says. Right, this is the video, it's about 5 minutes long. Okay, let's have a listen to this, and I'll comment on it.
9 days since Rupert Lowe declared he was going to convert Restore Britain from a movement to a political party. And it's been 8 days since I made an open offer on air to Rupert Lowe to consider a merger with Advance UK. I've had no response to that open offer. The only response made was in public by Rupert Lowe on X, in which he said I and members of Advance UK would be free to join Restore Britain. But here's the issue, Rupert. I don't know what Restore Britain is. I've had a look at your website, but there's no draft constitution there. Nothing setting out how the leadership is appointed, how the leadership is held to account, how policies are made, how people to your policy making committees are appointed, how you're going to set up your national network, how people are going to be recruited into the party. None of this is clear on your website. There's no draft constitutional document. The only document about which I'm aware are the Articles of Association of your country, what you've got on Companies House, and that shows a company limited by one share, private limited company, limited by one share which you own, Rupert. You are the owner and dictator of Restore Britain. And I do also know, and people need to know, that you don't believe in a democratic political party. You've said that to me yourself, and your own spokesmen have been on air for the last week saying that actually Rupert Lowe can be trusted to get this done. We don't need a democratic process. I think one of your spokesmen referred to you as Caesar, which is a completely ridiculous turn of phrase, if you don't mind me saying so. The only way the democracy of this country can be restored is through a democratic process. No dictatorial political party will restore our democracy. That's where Reform went so wrong. Reform was Farage, Farage was Reform. It still is, whatever he might say. And if Restore Britain is going to be Lowe and Lowe is going to be Restore Britain, you too will fail. And that will be disastrous for this country. We've got one chance to save this country. It needs to be done through serious principled politics. It can't be done through a dictatorship at Restore Britain. Now, the other thing, which isn't clear, is what is Restore Britain? What is its constitution? That's not clear. What do you believe in? What's your political philosophy? I can tell you our political philosophy. We believe in the nation state of Great Britain and Northern Ireland in all its parts and for all its people. The restoration of our Christian constitution and culture, the restoration of our freedoms, freedom from indoctrination of our children, freedom of speech, the restoration of our democracy, which can only be done democratically, getting rid of the international institutions out of the fabric of our country, getting rid of all the domestic bureaucracies and quangos that have got in the way of holding our elected officials to account, and restoring our criminal justice system so that we have equality under the law. That's what we believe in. It's very clear. It's set out in our constitutional documents, but I don't know what you believe in. And I'm labouring this point because in the last week, there's been what I can only regard as a tilt towards ethno-national sort of sound bites from some of your spokesmen. I'm not for a second suggesting that you're prejudiced based on the colour of someone's skin or that they are. I'm not suggesting that. But ethno-nationalism, which effectively means in the United Kingdom, English nationalism, Scottish nationalism, Welsh nationalism and Ulster nationalism, will end up breaking the United Kingdom. If those are the voices you want to give voice to, you will end up breaking the United Kingdom. You will deliver for the EU what it's been so desperate to do, which is our breakup. And mass migration, about which I'm so concerned, about which you're so concerned, is actually a move towards breaking up our country. The only way we can stand tall, the only way we will restore the United Kingdom, see off these forces that wish to destroy us, is by standing together. We can't have any form of ethno-nationalism as an agenda. It will end up defeating our very aim of a sovereign, proud, prosperous United Kingdom. It can't happen. So Rupert, if you want a merger with Advance UK, I don't suppose you do, but if you want any coming together of our membership or me or anything, you've got to make your position clear. And let me just tell you what my position is. I made a commitment when I set up Advance UK that I would lead it. And I would stand true, stand firm, stand with fortitude, would not bend in any opposition I would not bend to any opposition until I delivered our mission statement. And I declare that again today to all our members and to everyone listening. I will not bend. I will not give in. I will stand for this country until my last breath is given. So if you want any accommodation with us, Rupert, if you care for the country, Rupert, do the right thing. Make your position clear. Don't be a clickbait merchant. Adopt serious principled politics.
Don't be a clickbait merchant. Oh, that was a dig at most people on the right, to be honest with you. That goes for most people in the bloody, what do you call it, the grifting call that we have right now. And of course, Charlie Calamity Clown Down just couldn't help himself but to respond to it, because being the spokesman, he's the attack dog. He's the one who's going to take all the bullets for for Restore Britain. Got one idiot he is. Jeez, there's no brain cells up there, I'll tell you. Let's go here. And let's go back to the screen here, which I just now. No, it's gone for some reason. Where is it gone? There we go. So he couldn't help but respond, and he says this. He goes, Ben, you had a response, and Rupert made it clear to you on multiple occasions that all conversations take place behind closed doors. Why should they? Why should I take place behind closed doors? He's called you out on a number of things. You didn't even, by the way, nothing here he responds to the things that Ben Habib's actually accused Restore Britain of, by the way. Then he goes, and that he wants to work with you. Going public like this, again, hurts our cause. Well, by critiquing now. You're not allowed to criticise. Just that's exactly what was Ben Habib's point about Restore Britain and Rupert Lowe. And of course, he mentioned that he called him Caesar during that back and forth thing was on, what was on, I forget, Talk TV, all these ridiculous shows you get now. Going public like this hurts our cause. What cause are you talking about exactly? He ended up like a complete idiot on TV, because he came out and said, well, this is, about the British heritage going back years, plus our Christian heritage, or whatever he was talking about. He was just all over the place. Tom made a great point. He said, so an English white atheist wouldn't be part of this, but a black Christian would be. But hold on, they can't because they're black, and the other ones can't because they're not Christian, right? Now I know exactly what he was trying to say, but words do matter. They do matter. And that was like a complete own goal. You know, your likes and retweets, by the way, plus the reach you have, or the views, doesn't actually add up to you being right, just in case people are wondering as well. So that was back and forth, and of course, Ben Habib's point was in the end, when he responded back to Charlie and said, I've given it plenty of time, what's happening? Because if the things are so urgent, we're still on the brink here, why are we delaying all this? I'm saying we, not me per se, I'm just saying from their perspective as we, as a big movement, you know, quote unquote, silent majority, which of course is a myth, that we are, you know, waiting in the wings for something to happen. Of course it's all been a grift. Of course it's victimhood on the right. It's been like that for years. It's not new. It goes back even before EDL, right? In EDL days, right? And it sounded like EDL was actually quite a serious group, and then that went tits up because the guy at the top had no idea how to run a group or a political movement for that matter. And they want to call it now a movement. The movement doesn't exist anymore, guys. It's dead in the water. Then, of course, you get things like this. So there's another one which came up when I saw on the on my feed. It says there, Restore Britain will close off visa routes from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Eritrea, and Sudan and Syria. That's literally Reform UK's position. And that came out an hour ago, not an hour from this time, based on the timeline. And about 15 minutes later, Restore Britain decided to put out something like that as well. I mean, this is the problem. You see, before, Restore Britain was a thing. When you had, if I just go back to my, not you want to see Margaret Mutt, but let's go back to it. When you had Rupert Lowe back in Reform UK, and Ben Habib at the time was kind of sort of there or that, but he didn't want to see whatever might happen there. Everyone was big fans of Zia Youssef, right? They were big fans of his. Then that went tits up, and now of course he's the traitor, and now Rupert Lowe is the Messiah. This is a typical natural reaction, reactionary types I should say, populist types we have on the right, which are clueless in political philosophy, who have no idea what even conservatism is, or classical liberalism for that matter, and just go with the flow. Just go with the flow. Then the election finishes, their team doesn't win, and they're saying it's all over. 5 years later, they come back and say, oh my God, it's the biggest election ever. Wait a minute, didn't you just say 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, or 20 years ago that it was all over? Apparently it's not over yet. 5 years later, it's over. No, it's not yet. It's not over till it's over, right? Another 5 years, the exact same thing again. This is so predictable. I mean, the fact that people can't see this says it all. I mean, why else? Why do someone like me have to explain this to people? This is what I just don't get. And I've got to say, this person's a real funny one. I've got to say, do what you want in the end. You make your own choices, but don't be a hypocrite and don't try and make as if that. It's almost as if I can use this person as an example, not as to criticize them or attack them. And I don't call for anybody to be attacked on this platform or any other platform for the matter. Let me show you this, right? So this came up on as a screen from, what's that clown's name again? Basil the Great, wherever his name is. I don't know, there's some weird account, Faces account, which are really, really bizarre ones. But he posted this out. Orla Minahay, Restore Britain spokeswoman for the safety of women and girls. She was obviously previously at, she did the whole Pink Ladies thing, I think it was, on the right, and that kind of, not fell apart, but it was a rift in that as well. Then you had, you know, she was at Reform UK, and this is what I mean by using that as an example. I'm not criticising, I'm just saying, this is just the way to show you. Yeah, I'm not trying to ridicule anybody, I'm just showing an example why this is so messy, right? That's Daniel Finkelstein's tweet. We can get back to that as well. Just a reminder, as just to what we were talking before. I'm going to come back to this in a second. Just want to get the other one here. I think this one here, actually. Here we go. So, on the 29th of January, as it says at the time there at the top there, you can see, I'm not lying, you can see there, 29th of January. This is her, same account. There is only one solution. If you think otherwise, you're delusional. That's from Orla. Okay, All is the same person we saw here. Same person. Then you get these other idiots, I'll come back to the main screen in a second, these other idiots come out and say, well, people can change their minds. Of course they can. Of course they can. But she's the one who said, if you think otherwise, you're delusional. She's calling everybody at Restore Britain, everybody at Advance UK, you're all delusional. When was that? A month ago. Was that a month ago? Or was that when was that exactly? It must have been, yeah, well, I don't think it was last year. Unless it was from last year, but it was recent. Because Restore Britain tweeted at the bottom now in response to her and saying, insulting people who support Benabi, Advance UK and Rupert Lowe of Restore Britain isn't a good look, Orla. I expect better from you. Jesus, this is why I know some people have been put off by all this and say, I'm not interested in this anymore. I just want to go and vote election. I'll decide I'm going to vote when it comes up. So for Orla to come out and do this, just shows you that these people will never make their minds up. That's the point of this. They'll never make their minds up. 2 seconds there is change your mind and go to Advance UK. Someone from Restore Britain might go back to Reform. And someone who's from Reform UK might think, oh, I didn't get my chance to become an MP because there was a conspiracy against me. I can tell you this is all true. I'm now joining Restore Britain. Right? Or a councillor for matter. Doesn't be MP, but a councillor. So this is not new. So if you think about the things that Charlie Calamity Clown Down said, I'll call him Triple CD, the thing about the whole thing of being Christian, the heritage belonging to Britain, all this other stuff he came up with, it goes back to this actually. There's the kind of conversation of Colin Thompson, which by the way, Colin Thompson and Daniel Finkelstein actually had a civil conversation about this. It wasn't actually, being rude or anything. So then Finkelstein says, yes, Jews are a people response to Conor Tomlinson's original tweet. Then he says, so are the English, Scottish, Welsh and Irish. They deserve the same possession of and status in Britain as Jews enjoy in Israel. Wouldn't you agree? But his point was this, okay? Your main interest to me is that I'm a Jew and you're a racist, because if it wasn't you, you would know that I've long argued that this country's English traditions should be respected. I've been an opponent of mass migration, and I believe in this country as a British one. So I'm an odd person to pick on, but we both know why you do. I have no interest in your white race war, and I resist your ludicrous self-pity and rabble-rousing. It's why so many people on the right want nothing to do with you. And he's not wrong, because people who are on the fringes on the right don't actually have anything else to say apart from the usual shtick that we've heard from the past, which is blood and soil type politics, which again, they're free to do. They are absolutely free to do, but it's been rejected on every occasion. I think his name is Paul Thorpe, was it? I forgot the guy's name now. Forgive me. But he talked about how he saw why Farage did what he did in terms of Reform UK, and I can respect that too, because I think he's also right in doing what he did. I understand why Farage does it. He might not like it when it comes to quote-unquote democracy, but in the end, let's be truthful about it, right, is that ultimately, if you're running a political party in the UK and you want to make it quote-unquote democratic, as you keep talking about, you're going to get splits like this. Any political party need a leader, a top guy, the guy who's going to lead the movement, as you say, or lead the party into the next election. Right? Yeah, I think I got a tweet here actually. This is from Kay Hopkins back in, how long ago was this? This is like now almost a week ago. This is a very great day for Britain. With clarity and without circus, Rupert Lowe has defined what so many of us know will restore our once proud nation. He hasn't defined it according to Ben Habib. He's the truest of men. Ben Habib has proven himself to be everything he promised, a man not in it for himself, but a belief ordinary British people deserve better. And he will work with Rupert to deliver structural scaffolding to accelerate the political mega might. There's a new party. Elon Musk see the power of this thing from across the pond and is backing Rupert and his team to deliver it. Well, unfortunately, I think Rupert's backing. Elon's backing the wrong horse, despite his efforts to try and put reform down and promote Restore Britain on Twitter by shadow banning all reform accounts, by the way. So if I go to Katie Hopkins' page now, not that I want to, but let's go for it. I'd rather stay away from it as far as I can. I don't know how she's got 1.4 million followers, to be honest with you, but that's the way it is. No, she hasn't mentioned anything there, which is really odd. But again, there you go. That's the way it's gone there. So, what's next? What is next for these lot? The same people who wanted Robert Jenrick can restore Britain or advance the UK. Remember that? Yeah, that's right. That's what they wanted. The same people who wanted that guy in their parties now look and say, well, he's a Tory. You want no Tories in the party. But you wanted Tories like 2 seconds ago, literally. This is what the riot has been all about. The example of Orla joining Restore Britain was exactly the point I made many times before. Okay, this is nothing new. I wish it was, but nothing new. Nothing's going to change from that aspect. So we'll see what Zeus's speech is like tomorrow. Okay. Unity, what unity? I've said this like 100 times, people. I'm not speaking to follow me on YouTube because I say this. I mean, I've said it many times. I've lost count. But like most people, are just getting tired of it because it's the exact same story over and over again. With these guys, the people who want to always be in opposition are just grifters. The fact there are actually people in reform, by the way. Sorry, not reform. Sorry, correction. There are people in Restore Britain, Advance UK, who have doing everything they can to see if they can actually get someone like get his name. Jeez, I can forget his name. Matt Goodwin, stopping him from becoming the MP there in Gorton Denton by-election, says it all. So that's something which I think people need to consider and think about. And when people make decisions to either say, I'm going to change party because I had enough of this party or that party, you've got to really look at the motives. People who are genuinely concerned about the country make decisions, you can put it to one side, because I think they're making rash calls, but you can understand why they're frustrated. But people who are grifters, right on the right, there's so many of them right now. You need to really think about what their motives are and try to avoid them. That's enough for the stream. And my next stream actually I'm hoping to do next week is going to be going to be on the website again, because I haven't really updated on the website the Project Parley. I haven't talked much about that recently. I've been away from the streams for quite some time, but we'll get to that as well, and we'll take things from there. So, enjoy the rest of the weekend.